Learn English by listening to a love story through the English Book Channel. So, shall we get started? The melody of unforgettable love, a story of passion and destiny. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between mountains, two souls met under unusual circumstances. Amelia, the daughter of a wealthy businessman, lived in a world of strict rules and family traditions. Her father had planned her life down to the last detail, expecting her to marry into another influential family. On the other hand, Leo was a passionate musician with humble origins who lived freely, chasing his dream of becoming a famous composer. They met one rainy night at a local cafe where Leo was performing. Amelia, captivated by his music, stayed to listen, even though her father had forbidden her from mingling with people of lower status. For the first time, she felt something she had never felt before: freedom. Leo noticed her sitting alone and was drawn to her elegance and sadness. After his performance, he approached her, and they began talking, sparking an unexpected connection. As days passed, Amelia and Leo started meeting secretly, hidden from her family's watchful eyes. They shared their dreams, fears, and stories, growing closer with every conversation. Amelia had never known anyone like Leo, someone so genuine and full of life. For the first time, she questioned her family's rigid values and the life they had planned for her. Leo, too, found himself deeply in love, but their romance was not without obstacles. Amelia's father soon became suspicious of her absences and started investigating. When he discovered her relationship with Leo, he was furious. He forbade her from seeing Leo, threatening to cut her off from the family if she continued. Amelia was torn between her love for Leo and her loyalty to her family. The pressure mounted, and she felt trapped in a life she no longer wanted. Determined not to lose Amelia, Leo confronted her father. He promised to take care of her and offer her a life full of love, if not wealth. But Amelia's father laughed in his face, belittling Leo's dreams and warning him to stay away. Humiliated but resolute, Leo left, vowing that he would return for Amelia once he could offer her a stable life. He hoped she would wait, even though he knew it was asking a lot. Despite her father's threats, Amelia secretly continued to communicate with Leo through letters. She knew she couldn't let go of the love they had built. And so, the love story of Amelia and Leo continued. A tale of forbidden encounters, challenges, and a connection that defied time and conventions. Over the years, Leo worked tirelessly, taking any job he could find while still pursuing his music career. Amelia, meanwhile, faced increasing pressure from her family or someone more suitable, but she resisted, holding on to hope. Years passed, and Leo finally achieved success with his music, gaining recognition as a composer. When he returned to the town, he sought out Amelia, ready to fulfill his promise. However, he discovered that her family had forced her into a marriage with a wealthy businessman from a neighboring city. Heartbroken, Leo felt as if his dreams had shattered once more, but he was determined to see Amelia, even if it meant just one last goodbye. Amelia's life as a married woman was far from the fairy tale her family had promised. She was lonely, bound by expectations, and her husband was indifferent. When she learned of Leo's return, old feelings resurfaced, and they arranged to meet secretly. Their reunion was bittersweet, filled with love and regret. They realized they could never truly let go of each other, yet their circumstances were even more complicated. In the secrecy of their brief meetings, they shared moments of happiness, reigniting the love they thought they had lost. But Amelia was bound by her marriage vows, and Leo could not force her to leave her life. They both knew that society would judge them harshly, and Amelia's family would do anything to ruin Leo if they discovered the affair. Torn between their love and the lives they were living, they were trapped in an endless cycle of passion and despair. Eventually, Amelia's husband found out about their meetings and, in a fit of jealousy, confronted her. He threatened to ruin Leo's newfound career if Amelia didn't end the relationship immediately. Fearing the consequences for Leo, she reluctantly agreed, breaking both their hearts. She wrote Leo a final letter, explaining her decision but promising to always love him. Leo, devastated, left the town once more, carrying only Amelia's letter and the memories of their forbidden love. He poured his pain into his music, creating some of his most haunting compositions inspired by their story. Although he became famous and respected, the love of his life remained an ache in his heart, a reminder of what could have been. Years later, as an old woman, Amelia attended one of Leo's concerts in secret. She watched him play, tears streaming down her face, recognizing the melodies he had once played only for her. Leo saw her in the crowd, and for a brief moment their eyes met, filled with love, pain, and acceptance of a life they could never have shared. Their love story remained hidden, a secret known only to them and the music that connected their souls. Though life had separated them, their love endured, immortalized in Leo's compositions, which told the story of two hearts that loved deeply but could never be together. As the concert ended, Leo dedicated his final song to the love of a lifetime, knowing Amelia understood his words. In that moment, they both knew that, despite everything, their love had transcended the boundaries set by the world around them. And although they were apart, their hearts remained forever intertwined, bound by a love that could never die. Even as Amelia returned to her structured life, the memories of her time with Leo lingered like a delicate whisper, impossible to silence. Her heart ached every time she heard one of his songs, knowing the melodies carried pieces of their shared story. That untouched love continued, silently kept in their hearts, and even more so, in Leo's compositions that echoed around the world. Amelia, growing older with the memories of lost love, clung to the memory of each note played, feeling closer to Leo with each melody. On quiet nights when the world was asleep, she returned to the gardens and cafes that had witnessed their secret moments. There, in the silence, she felt accompanied by the spirit of the man she had loved, as if the very air still held the whispers exchanged between them. Leo, in turn, transformed his longing into inspiration. Each time he performed, he felt as if he were playing for Amelia, wherever she was. In each chord and melody, he poured the intensity of a love the world didn't know, but that he carried forever in his soul. As the years went by, Amelia decided to leave a record of their love. She wrote in a journal her memories with Leo, recounting every detail of their conversations, their glances, and the feelings that never died. It was a silent legacy, a tribute to that love that had given her strength and left deep marks. Amelia kept the journal carefully hidden in a secret compartment of her home, away from the curious eyes of her family and husband. This journal became her refuge, a space where she could revisit the love of her life without judgment. Each word she wrote was a way to keep Leo alive in her heart, a quiet rebellion against the life others had chosen for her. As the years went on, Amelia's health began to decline, but her memories of Leo remained vivid. On quiet afternoons, she would read the journal, smiling as she recalled the secret glances and whispered promises. Despite her age, the emotions felt as strong as ever, bridging the years that separated her from her true love. Meanwhile, Leo continued to pour his soul into his music. Each composition held a piece of Amelia, his muse, and the love they shared. His fame grew, and his music touched people around the world, but no one knew the true inspiration behind the melodies. For Leo, success was bittersweet. He had gained the world, but lost the one person who mattered most. One winter evening, while reading her journal, Amelia felt a deep sense of peace settle over her. She realized that her love for Leo had transcended time, woven into the fabric of who she was. She had once feared forgetting him, but now she knew that he was a part of her, as inseparable as the air she breathed. One of Leo's compositions eventually reached Amelia's town, played in a grand concert hall. Amelia, frail but determined, attended the performance in secret. She sat at the back, listening to the familiar melodies, feeling as though Leo was right beside her, playing just for her. Tears streamed down her face as she recognized the notes, each one a testament to their enduring love. In the music, Amelia found solace and connection, knowing that Leo's feelings had remained as steadfast as hers. The melodies resonated in her soul, echoing their love story across the years. For the first time in decades, she felt a lightness, as if a weight she'd carried her entire life had finally lifted. As the last note faded, Amelia whispered, "I love you, Leo," her voice barely audible, lost among the applause of the crowd. In that moment, she felt complete, as though every piece of her heart had finally found peace. Her love had never been in vain. It had been immortalized in Leo's music, a legacy that would live on. Leo, too, felt an inexplicable connection that evening, a warmth he couldn't quite place. He knew he had poured his heart into that performance, as he always did, but something felt different. It was as if he could feel Amelia's presence, her spirit intertwined with the music. A strange calm filled him, and he left the stage knowing he had given everything. After the concert, Leo received a letter from an elderly friend who had attended the show. The friend spoke of an older woman in the audience who seemed deeply moved by the music, as if she recognized every note. Though Leo didn't know for sure, he felt a flicker of hope. Could it have been Amelia? Had she somehow found him again, if only for a fleeting moment? In the months that followed, Leo wrote a final piece, dedicating it to a love unforgotten. This composition, hauntingly beautiful, became one of his most beloved works. People from all walks of life found solace in its notes, though none knew the real story behind them. To Leo, it was his goodbye to Amelia, a way to honor their love one last time. As he played the song in his final concert, Leo could almost feel Amelia's hand in his, a sensation so real that it brought tears to his eyes. With every note, he felt closer to her, as though they were together again, sharing the love they had once cherished in secret. On her last night, Amelia held the journal close, whispering a final farewell to Leo. She closed her eyes, feeling as though she was drifting into his arms. It was a peaceful end, one filled with memories of a love that had defied time, a love that would stay with her forever. Leo spent his final years in solitude, dedicating his life to teaching young musicians, passing on the passion he and Amelia had shared. To his students, he often spoke of love, of the importance of following one's heart, hoping they would find their own muse, just as he had found his. As he grew older, he would sometimes find himself playing Amelia's song, his fingers gliding over the keys with a tenderness that had never faded. Even in his twilight years, the memories of their love felt fresh, like a soft breeze that whispered her name. When Leo passed, his compositions were celebrated, but those who listened closely could feel the soul of his music, one that spoke of a love that had endured against all odds. The world knew him as a brilliant composer, but in his heart, he had always been Amelia's Leo. In the end, Amelia and Leo's love story became a legend, whispered in the corridors of the concert halls where his music was played. Though separated by time, their love had left an indelible mark on the world, a melody that would never fade. Share this story, and see you in the next video.